Hi and welcome to the latest Year 6 Maths video. This is the Getting Secure version. To start off with, I want you to have a look at the 3 questions here and see if you can find what is the link between these questions, what have they got in common, and what's this video about. Pause the video now and see if you can work it out. Now, all of these questions are actually about finding the inverse. For the first example, 25% of a number is 100, so if I divide by 4, that's the same as finding 25%. So the number that I am looking for is the one that I start with, which is 400. Similarly, on the second example, I think of a number, it's the number that I start with that I'm looking for. I subtract 3 and I multiply by 3 to get to 39. So I need to do the inverse, I need to do the opposite to work out what the original number was. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. 39 divided by 3 is 13. And then I need to do the opposite of taking away 3, which is adding 3, to get me to 16. 16 take 3 is 13 times 3 is 39. And again, just the same on the last one. I'm looking for the number that I begin with. I subtract 12 here, so to find that I need to do the opposite. I need to add 12, 41. Now, have a go at these 2 questions and notice how the order in which the numbers have been positioned with a subtraction affects the operation that we need to do when we find the missing number. In the first example, I've got to reverse the effects of taking 15 away here, do the inverse by adding 15 to 34 to get me to 49. 49 take away 15 is 34. In the second example, it's a little bit different, because here, 83 and this number have a difference of 47. I actually need to do 83 subtract 47, finding the difference between 47 and 83 to find the missing number. In this case, I would count on from 47 to 77, and then another 6 to get to 83. Now, whilst you're attempting to answer inverse questions, it's particularly worded questions, it's important to lay the information out first. Barry can't remember how much money he won at the coconut shy at the school fair, so we'll represent that amount with a box that we can fill in. He knows he spent half of his winnings at the chocolate tombola, that's dividing by his winnings by 2, and he bought that hot dog, which cost £2. He's got 50p left. Now, see if you can work out how much Barry won. Now, I've got to work backwards to do the inverse and think, well, how much money must he have had before he bought that hot dog for £2? So I've got to add the £2 back on to get to £2.50, and then work out, well, before that amount was divided by 2, how much must he have had? And of course, to do that, I would need to multiply by 2, meaning that he must have had £5. So, let's have a look. If it was £5, 5 divided by 2 is £2.50. Subtract £2 leaves 50p. So, £5 is spot on. Now, see if you can answer this question. I've drawn a Singapore bar to help you to visualise what it might look like. So, if 2/3 of a number is 16, then we can see that each third of a number must be 8. And so the whole number, 3/3 of the number, here, must be 24. I could check by doing 2/3 of 24. Well, 1/3 of 24 is 8, and so 2/3 is 16. Now, see if you can apply that understanding of everything that we've done so far to answer this last question. Pause the video and have a go. So, there's how I can lay the information out. First of all, I'd need to do the inverse of multiplying by 2, which of course is dividing by 2, to get to 6. Then, I'd need to reverse the effects of adding the 3 by taking a 3 away, to get to 3. Then, I could work out what the number was before I times it by 2, by dividing by 2. And the answer, 1.5. Crucially, I'll need to check my answer by putting it back in the formula. 1.5 times by 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, times by 2 is 12, so that I know it's right. Well done for getting through the video, and we'll see you back in class to rehearse all these skills.